Hi guys, welcome back. Another Liverpool video. It's been a while, it's been 3 games since the last one, so I'm going to cover those and obviously get onto some future things as well. So, obviously, the main thing, we've lifted the trophy, the title. What a show it was at Anfield. Bit unusual, obviously, no fans, but fireworks under the lights in the cop. It's like a special kind of setup that we wouldn't usually be able to do, so that was really cool. Everyone kind of came up individually, got their medal, got their name called out. A few players obviously didn't get medals, that didn't feature as much, but most of them got medals. And obviously Hendo coming up at the end with a shuffle, turns around, lifts it high. Families were in the stadium, so at least they had someone to kind of present it to. But yeah, really really cool. Finally, the trophy is in our hands. There's been some nice photos this week of obviously the 4 trophies we've won this season. The 3 we've won this season and the Champions League from last year, which we obviously still are European champions, as that's yet to happen. The end of season tournament for this year's champions. So yeah, that was really really cool. Obviously, I'll go back to the last video that I made was just before that Burnley game, which was disappointing. Finished 1-1. The winning streak at home came to an end. 18 wins and 1 draw this season at home out of 19 is pretty good going. Nick Pope was really the reason why that we didn't win the game. Pulled off 3 or 4 top saves against Salah, against Mane, Salah I think again as well. So yeah, I mean, we took the lead. Fabinho crossed it in sort of over the top. Robertson came in with a fantastic header, sort of Suarez like, loads of power on it, looped into the goal, which was 1-0. Firmino then hit the post in the second half. And then, the Burnley got a free kick just before the water break in the second half for offside, which we weren't offside if you look back at the video. Obviously, they took the free kick, they launched it in, headed it down, and Rodriguez, great finish to be fair for an equaliser. And yeah, that was it. We couldn't find a way through. So really, the goal shouldn't have counted, but you get some, you lose some. 1-1, it's not the end of the world. We moved on to the Arsenal game, which really was poor. Obviously a 2-1 loss, didn't expect to lose there. Robbo set up Mane for 1-0, which looked good. Firmino had already almost scored, charging down the goalie before that. And then it all kind of fell apart in the first half. Van Dijk made a pretty out of character error, and gave the ball away. That was 1-1, Lacazette. And then Robertson threw the ball back to Alisson, who kind of hospital passed it back to him, and they ended up scoring again through Reece Nelson. So 2-1 down at half time, but you're thinking, okay, 2 mistakes, we're Premier League champions, we can turn this around, or at least salvage a draw, and we didn't. Nothing really happened in the second half. It was really really poor. I didn't really see anything, enough urgency. Klopp was really unhappy with the performance and got a bit agitated. It's understandable. It all came down to the game at home to Chelsea. Obviously, if you're lifting the trophy at the end of the game, you want to put in a performance. It's not much fun losing the game and then lifting the trophy. All right, you've won already, but finish with a bit of a plum, a bit of cool. Put on a display basically. So which really it was. One of the games of the season. Keita started this one possession himself, ran through, absolutely levered it, sort of middle of the goal, so much power off the top of the bar past Kepa for 1-0, which was really, really good start. Trent then doubled it with another trademark free kick, very similar to his Palace one, to make it 2-0. And then, from a corner, there was some shouts for handball, but Wijnaldum wasn't waiting around for the decision and absolutely blasted it into the top corner for 3-0. Giroud got one back just on half-time for 3-1, so going into the break, pretty comfortable. We went 4-1 up. Trent crossed the ball in. Another assist from him for Bobby Firmino, who finally scored at Anfield after about 15 months, something ridiculous, with a header, which was really well taken. And then Pulisic came on and changed the game. Great run from him. Beat Fabinho, Gomez too easily. Set up Abraham on a plate. Gomez should do better, but it was a great run. And then Pulisic again. Finds himself in the box. Gomez and Van Dijk clash into each other. Gomez gets back, but it's too late. Pulisic on the turn, on the swivel, finds the top corner again, which is getting a bit tight. And then right at the end, obviously Chelsea pushing for that equaliser. Robertson on the counter attack down the left hand side finds Chamberlain in the middle, who finishes first time with a great goal as well. So 5-3, it ended. Lampard not too happy with some celebrations on the bench. So he had a bit of a row with Klopp, which I think seems to be a bit of a spat over nothing, if I'm honest. Obviously, Chelsea now go into that final game needing to draw at least at Wolves to guarantee Champions League football, unless Man United beat Leicester. So that will be interesting on the last day. Liverpool obviously travel to Newcastle, which should be a pretty standard game. I mean, whether or not he'll play full team, I don't know. I think he probably will. There's not much else to do coming up on the horizon. Obviously, it's the end of the season, so I would imagine pretty strong. One or two might be in there. You know, maybe Lallana will feature. Obviously, that was his last game. This will be potentially his last game. Sorry. So it might be nice to see him feature. Maybe Curtis Jones getting a game as well. Who knows? But yeah, I would be pretty sure that Liverpool can come away from Newcastle with a win. Whether that's 1-0 would be fine. That would put us onto 99 points, which would be nice. It'd be nice to beat last season's total points, which would be good. I think a draw would equal it, but a win, I would be pretty sure we could do that. So that would be good to watch out for. All the matches are on at 4:00, all at the same time. Obviously, I mentioned the trophy lift was really cool, and yeah, obviously Lallana potentially could be his last game, and also potentially Dejan Lovren. I don't think he'll actually feature in the game, but it looks like a deal with Zenit St. Petersburg has been agreed for £11 million. He's been at the club for a long time. He was okay when he first came in, but he's fallen down the pecking order quite a lot, and really, I've said it in previous videos, he's not good enough anymore. He's a liability. Every time he plays, you know, he makes a mistake, he makes the rest of the team, you know, worried. He's just a dodgy defender, and he's way past his best. So yeah, good luck to him. Thanks for the years. The Dortmund goal springs to mind in the Europa League. I think that was the semi-final. But yeah, it's time to move on. So that leaves us with one midfielder and one defender short. Potential future transfers. Will we bring in a fourth centre-back? Will we promote within? I would like to think fourth centre-back will come in. Matip, you cannot rely on. He's always injured, so that leaves us with two. Gomez as well, not the greatest injury track record. Not sure he's ready to play every game, every week either. So I would like to see another senior centre-back come in. You know, a Koulibaly, someone like that. And Lallana leaving. I think that's less of a blow. People like Curtis Jones coming through. I think Minamino will feature more next year as well in a similar role. So whether or not we have to replace him, I don't think as much. But Lovren, I think, yes, a replacement is needed. Obviously, I mentioned Curtis Jones. He's taken a number 17 shirt now for next season. I think he was 48 before, which was obviously 17 was Gerrard's first number, or very early on. He was 17 before he changed to 8. So hopefully Curtis Jones can follow in his footsteps, and if he has half the career Gerrard does, he's going to be a top player, isn't he? Other news, Henderson's lifted the Football Writers Association Player of the Season. Lots of debate about that, whether it should have been Kevin De Bruyne. Look at the league table is my answer. You know, Kevin De Bruyne, yes, 20 assists, flashes of brilliance. But over a season, all right, you might get 3 assists in one game, 4 assists in another. Over a season, it's not been enough, is it? They're 20-odd points behind us. You know, Henderson's not in there for assists and goals, although he has contributed a lot more than he usually does this season in that area. But, you know, leadership, organisation, tackling, pressing, you know, belief, everything. Henderson has really, really come to the fore and proved me wrong. And I think everybody, to be fair, when he was brought in from Kenny Dalglish, he was an average young midfielder coming from Sunderland. You know, he wasn't always in the team. Suddenly he was made captain when Gerrard went, which I think was his big chance, and my God, did he grab it. Unbelievable since then. Obviously, he's got better and better and better, and without Henderson, we are a worse team. Obviously, the last few games he's not been in the team due to an injury, and it's shown. I mean, Keita has stepped in and done well, but the leadership, the pressing, the organisation, the determination is not there without Henderson. So I agree, Football Writers Association, you've made the right call, and I'd like to see the PFA also agree. Possibly De Bruyne will win that, but I think Henderson is in for a shout. Both worthy winners, in my opinion. Moving on, obviously we won the title. The Champions Wall's been updated at Melwood and in the tunnel. Rather than kind of painting over the old Championship league title, it's been printed next to it, so it just says league titles. So you've got the Premier League trophy and the old First Division trophy next to each other. 19 league titles now. Fingers crossed that'll be 20 pretty soon as well. Obviously back in the Champions League as well next year, so it'd be nice to at least retain the Prem or maybe win the Champions League again. Not really one for the cups, Jurgen Klopp, which is not the end of the world. FA Cup and Carabao Cup, not really fussed on. FA Cup a little bit more, but yeah, Champions League and Premier League, if we win one of them next year, more than happy. So that's the Champions League. We've mentioned the Newcastle preview. Transfers coming in. It's pretty quiet. Hopefully by the next video I make will be after the season finishes. The transfer window will be open, and hopefully we'll be linked with a few more players. At the minute, Thiago is the only real one linked from Bayern Munich. He'd be a good player. Whether he'd come in as a Lallana replacement potentially, but then the likes of Curtis Jones and Minamino, then you would think take another step back when really we're looking at pushing them more into the team this coming season. So remains to be seen. I can't see it myself, but as I said, maybe a striker, maybe a winger, and definitely a centre back needed to be coming in. Other than that, the new season, as I've mentioned, starts on September the 12th, which is a little bit later than usual, just to give them a bit of a pre-season because it's been a long season. It's been over almost a year, I believe, since we started the 2019-2020 season upon its conclusion. So it will be good to see a pre-season, everybody getting back to full match fitness, any injuries being treated, and ready to go again, hopefully without any more delays, because coronavirus has not gone away, it is still here. Hopefully it remains under control, but potentially we could have a second wave. Hopefully we don't get that, and hopefully the whole season can be played in its normality for the season coming up. In terms of teams that we might be playing next season, obviously the relegation is yet to be decided. Norwich are down. It'll be Bournemouth probably, and then probably Watford or Villa. So we won't be playing 3 out of that 4 next season. However, 3 coming up. Leeds are coming up. Leeds will be a cracking game next season. Leeds have got some really good players. West Brom are also coming up. I think they'll be going straight back down. If I'm honest, I think Leeds will be all right. And then we've got the playoffs, which obviously is Fulham, Brentford, Cardiff and Swansea. Fulham and Brentford are miles ahead of the Welsh teams. I think that should be the final. I hope it will be. I think it will be. Obviously, Ryan Brewster is at Swansea, so all the best to him as well. But he's going to be leaving there regardless, coming back to us. Maybe he'll get more chances next season in the first team if Origi does move on, which looks likely as well. So maybe he'll get a few more opportunities. So we've got some really good youngsters coming through. But yeah, I think Fulham and Brentford will be the final. I think Fulham have come up, and stunk it out again recently. I know they've got Scott Parker, but I can't see them doing much. Brentford, I would like to see promoted. They've got a really nice new stadium. They play football in the right way. They've got 1 or 2 really, really good players, Ben Rama and Watkins. Hopefully they've got some money to invest as well. So yeah, I'd like to see Brentford up there as well. That would be nice. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it from me. Obviously Newcastle tomorrow. In terms of team prediction, I think we'll see Alisson in goal. I think we'll see Robertson and Trent. I think we'll see Gomez and Van Dijk. Fabinho in the holding. I think Keita and Wijnaldum will continue in the middle. And I think Salah, Mane and Firmino will be the front 3. Potentially you could bring in a Lallana or a Jones or a Minamino. Remember, we've got 5 subs, so I expect them to at least feature in the game. Whether or not they'll start, I'm not too sure. But I think it would be nice, especially Lallana, to get a game before he does finish. He didn't, whatever reason, he didn't get on in that Chelsea game at Anfield to say his goodbyes. Whether or not he's not fully fit, I'm not sure. But yeah, if he could get on for the Newcastle game, hopefully that would be a nice send off for him. We've seen a little bit of emotion from Lallana this week on interviews, and he was presented with a nice kind of plaque of moments he's had. He's been here a long time, right at the beginning of the Klopp era and before. He's been alright. It's just, I think I saw a stat where he'd started 8% of our matches since he'd been here, which says it all, doesn't it? Injuries is the main word you think of when you talk about Lallana. A very gifted player, but never really been in the first 11. Had a little bit of a purple patch a couple of seasons ago when we had that really yellowy line with the grey kit. Yeah, was on fire for a few weeks, maybe a month or two, but just inconsistent. Never really can get a run in the team because he's always out injured again, which has really not helped his form. Wish him all the best. I think he could do a job at most clubs. You know, the likes of Leicester, Everton. Hopefully not. That kind of level of teams. I think he's better than Brighton, which I think he's been linked with. Potentially Southampton would be a good move for him back where he began. Or he might began at Bournemouth, but obviously it was at Southampton before he came to Liverpool as captain. So someone like that, I think he could really go in there and be a top player for. So I wish him all the best. Other than that, obviously the Newcastle game tomorrow and the Champions League coming up shortly. For now, we're world champions, we're European champions, we're Premier League champions, we're European Super Cup champions. So it's looking rosy. Fingers crossed next time I speak to you, we've got another win, 99 points in the bag, and we'll be linked with some top players. Take it easy.